Welcome to Materials and Methods Matter. In this episode, I will introduce you to the Koh-I-Noor Tritone multicolor pencils. These color pencils are unique in that each pencil contains 3 complementary shades. Each pencil is marked with 3 color bands to indicate those colors. There are 23 color combinations of Tritone pencils plus a colorless blender pencil. They are available as individual pencils plus a 12 and 24 piece set. The fun part is using them. The 3 colors give a new dimension in drawing, giving a variety of unique effects depending on how they are applied. Just as I mentioned, the effects depend on how the Tritone colors are applied. Here's what I mean. If I use just the point of the pencil and go in a horizontal direction, I get one effect. If I go in a vertical direction, I achieve something else. If I go in both directions, I then get a third effect. Next, if I lay the pencil down using the side of the pencil going in a horizontal direction, one effect. If I apply it going in a vertical direction, another. And if I go in both directions, I achieve a third effect. So you can see the variations that we have here. Now to clean up, we just take our MOO Eraser, just erase along all the edges. If this was our object, we could do the same thing. It erases very easily. Each set of Tritone pencils comes with a blender pencil. So let's show here what happens when we blend. So I'm going to do the diagonal and just blend these colors together to show you what the blender does. And you can see that it gives us a whole different effect. Now what I'm doing here, since we went horizontally, I'm blending vertically. If you go this direction diagonally, it's just going to blend the colors a little bit different. If I go vertically with that, it's also going to give me a different effect. For our bottom part here, where we use the side of the pencil, first I want to clean off the blender. And here what we're going to do is just blend across. This is where we had the side of the pencil. And you could see a very different type of effect. Same here. Again, this is our colorless blender. And lastly, in our cross-hatched side of the pencil, so those are the results of using the colorless blender. Tritone pencils can also be worked with traditional polycolor pencils. So in this case, let's burnish with white so we could see our effect. In fact, we'll just basically tone it down. Blending, it blends because we are burnishing with white. And here again I I use the Ember. This is our mass tone, the actual color of the pencil. I did this lay down in a horizontal. So here what I'm going to do is go vertically over the top of it. And this will give us a different effect using the white pencil with that. We could also use a complementary color or an analogous color. So in this case I have chosen this ochre color, and you can see if I go over the top of this, I retain the color underneath, and here I'm putting it on pretty heavy. This is actually a color called Naples Yellow. So this would be an analogous color. I picked that because of the orange and red that are inside the tritone. We can see here in our color we have orange and red, and then basically a black. So I'm using that. Now as a complementary color we have orange and red, so we're kind of analogous but complementary. And for a lot of times for shadows I like using a violet. So I am choosing the Winsor violet color here to basically tone down. This one I'm not putting on as dark, just lighter, creating what would basically be our shadow. So you can see the different effects, and you can try any color. There's many combinations that we can use here. So this will give us our I could have used a blue in here, but I like I say, using the violet for shadows. Next we have, of course, the Colorless blender pencil. And we already did this, but I'm going to do it again because I want to have it here as a comparison against all these other tools. So this was my Colorless blender pencil. And then lastly, I'm going to use the alcohol based marker, and using the Spectra AD marker with alcohol, I'm going to, in this case, come across remember I did horizontal, so I'm going to create vertical strokes with this. You can see that it does some blending of the colors. Gives us a different effect because the alcohol reacts with the wax in the pencil, and this is going to give us a nice kind of variegated background. It's a little more painterly. And then again, when you're doing this with your marker, always clean it off. So just to recap, we see here that we have our mass tone of our Ember pencil, burnishing with white, burnishing with a orange yellow, which is Naples yellow, using a violet, our Colorless blender pencil, and lastly our alcohol-based marker blend. In the next episode of Materials and Methods Matter, I'll render an illustration to demonstrate some of the unique effects that you can achieve using the Tritone pencils. Materials and Methods Matter was inspired by my book, Making Art, Materials and Techniques for Today's Artist. For more videos on Materials and Methods Matter, as well as lesson plans and other instructional videos, visit Thalo.com.